This is my love letter to the Ford Motor Company, Jim Farley, CEO of it, and whoever in the company this video may concern. This is a 1999 Ford Taurus. It's got 70,000 miles on it, and I gave my 226,000 mile Chevy Silverado with the 5.3 to a kid who did not have his license but really wanted a truck and did not want this Taurus. It's been sitting 2 years, doesn't need a lot of maintenance because it was only one owner. Only thing it really needs is hubs, brakes, and a fluid flush. Now, ever since I was 6 years old, my dad and my entire family has collected the worst of Dodge, Chevy, GMC, Toyota. Best thing I think we ever had when I was growing up was a damn Mercury that my grandma bought brand new and sold at 60,000 miles. That was the only vehicle we owned that had any trade-in value at that time. I've held the flashlight from my father and watched him put endless parts into Dodge Neons, Dodge Rams, old Chevy Cavaliers, Trailblazers, you name it. I saw parts get thrown into that. It was a lot of blood, sweat, and tears, but we not only got more miles out of those vehicles, but I learned a lesson every time I watched my dad fix these vehicles. Without that level of know-how that my family had, we wouldn't have survived. We would have had no jobs, no food, and we wouldn't have had to put gas in anything that wasn't running.
I can see exactly where he's coming from because nowadays they want the vehicles to be returned back to the dealership for any type of maintenance, or when you go to fix a certain part, you gotta take off like 50 other things just to get to one part, and it's like, what in the heck? Like what is really going on? And they want you to return back to the dealership. Sometimes some of these dealerships, they don't have any service and open for months in advance. What if you need something fixed, urgently? Like what if you need it fixed quick? And I've been hearing stories of junkyards burning, part stores closing. So let's say you have an older vehicle, you need a part for it to fix, but you can't find it at a junkyard. The part stores don't really have it. And what are you going to do? It leads you to purchase a new vehicle. And some of these new vehicles, they don't even last long nowadays. I've seen so many stories online where people say they get a brand new vehicle, all of a sudden it's on the back of a tow truck with only 2,500 miles on it. Only 2,500 miles on it? What do they care more about? Quality or quantity at this point? Because 2,500 miles, some of these vehicles on the road nowadays have 150K plus and they're still driving, still reliable, no problems with them whatsoever. People would love to keep their cars. Some people don't want to be in a payment. I do not blame them because how expensive these cars are nowadays, plus interest, is just outrageous. But what are you going to do? What if people stop buying new cars? There are a lot of what ifs, but it's just insane that they, want you to purchase some of these new vehicles nowadays and leave you with no choice, in my opinion.
We went from calling it a skill to a survival instinct. And these days, it cannot be more prevalent that this skill is very much survival instinct. So for you to complain about the minimal revenue you get because people are not taking their vehicles into mechanics and they're not taking their vehicles into dealerships to get fixed is absolutely a complaint I just don't give two craps about. As a matter of fact, I say it was a complete atrocity that in 2011 and 2014 you released the worst line of cars that I think the world had ever seen, such as the Focus and Fusion. At 200,000 miles, it should just be a simple pull out the engine and stab a new one in. None of this computerized bullshit. But you did it because you thought that if it was complicated enough for us not to work on it, then we would just have to pay you hand over fist to fix these issues. Well, Jim, that's not how I operate. That's why I got a 1999. And
I see exactly where he's coming from. He wants to keep the vehicles that he has been using. What's fit for him and his family, what he wants, what he prefers. Some people don't want some of these newer vehicles with all of these electronics in it. I do not blame them. Sometimes they want you to pay $50,000, $60,000 for some of these vehicles, and then you got to do a subscription. You got to pay a monthly subscription to use the features that you already purchased these vehicle for. Thousands of dollars spent. It is crazy. The original link for this video will be in my description box. I just have another clip I want you guys to take a listen to. Take a listen to this one.
All right,
All right,
Dad.
Dad.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we're
Ron,
talking about we're
we're
going
going
over
over
Ford and
Ford and
GM
GM
and
and
President
President
Trump,
Trump.
and trying to make it where people can't work on their own cars, independents can't work on the cars.
Yeah.
And yet Ford has already came out and said that they've had issues.
They don't have enough people. Hey, the CEO of Ford, we did a video on that,
a few months ago came out and said they don't have enough technicians.
This morning when I woke up, there were 6,000 bays in our dealerships with no technicians. So can't get my car fixed. Nope.
And I understand that exactly. I'll tell you guys why. So I needed my vehicle to be serviced, and the nearest dealership to me, well, the specific manufacturer dealership that I had to go to, they were about 30 minutes away. When I went to go set my appointment, there was no appointment to be set for a month and a half in advance while my check engine light is flashing and I need it to be serviced. Well, they don't have any openings for a month and a half. So basically, they want us to stop repairing our vehicles at home, stop doing the maintenance and all of this other stuff on our vehicles at home. They want us to go to specific places that are months out in advance. How does that add up? Like, how does that add up? Why do they want us to do what they want us to do? You know, I thought of something when they were putting all of these electronics in these vehicles, and then, you're talking to some mechanics and they said you got to break down like this, that, and the third just to get to this one part. That should have been a red flag already, like breaking down all of these parts just to get to one part. I mean, come on now. Back in the day, if you needed a part off a vehicle, you literally just pop the hood, start working, boom, you already get the part. But nowadays, you got to take all of these sensors off, you got to take all of these gadgets off, you got to break this down, you got to break that down just to get to one part. So in my opinion, I think they're making it harder for mechanics to work on vehicles and having to have these people to return back to the dealership to get them fixed. And the labor rates that some of these dealerships charge to fix things is outrageous. Outrageous.
2 weeks. Average wait is 2 weeks.
So we said in the last video, they got about 29% of the repair world right now, the repairs that are being done on vehicles. They don't have enough technicians to do that. He said that, I think if I remember right, they were weeks out from being able to do repairs. Oh, okay. Matter of fact, he said specifically, it's not the parts that are holding us back. It's the technicians. We don't have enough technicians to do it.
Not because we don't have the parts, we don't have the mechanics.
And now you want to restrict access? I mean, we all know the price is going to go up. If you only got one option to go somewhere, right? The price is going up. That's just the way the world works, right? But if you also only have that one option and they don't have enough personnel, then you're just like, oh, I only got one. You're going to call up, and here's what it's going to be. Yeah, okay, your car's broke down on the side of the road. Yeah, we can get it in. Our next appointment is, 6 weeks from now. Oh, you need it quicker than that? You can buy a new vehicle if you like.
Yeah.
Let me get you to our sales department, and that way you can buy a new vehicle. I mean, right?
Yeah.
So they're over there trying to lobby to get this thing locked down. And remember, so they get 29% right now of all repairs. That means that over 70% of repairs are done at independents. Do the math, guys. Do the math.
Yeah.
You're going to be stuck.
They already got a lot of, Ford in itself already is the leader in recalls as well. How are they got to keep up with that?
They are
They're
the
gonna
number
keep up
one
with
in
those
recalls.
extra repairs.
And we're getting more and more recalls. Every single year, the recalls are going up and up and up.
That's
and up
another
and up.
video we're going to do.
A whole another video.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Dad.
That's absolutely crazy. And a point was made. Like, think about it like this. There are so many manufacturers with a lot of recalls. Like, I mean, a lot of recalls. So you mean to tell me that they are low on technicians, they got to do repair calls, then they got to do recalls. Like, how are they going to mix all of that into one if they don't have enough technicians? So, hey, as he said, your vehicle's on the back of a tow truck. Hey, yeah, I need my vehicle to be serviced. Okay, well, let's check this out. Where we have this and this ahead of you. It seems like that we have a next availability 6 weeks from now. 6 weeks? Are they going to give you a loaner for 6 weeks? Like, I've already seen some of these new vehicles with only like 6,000 miles on them on the back of a tow truck. And there's no telling when some of these parts are going to get in for these vehicles. And if there's no telling when the part's going to get in, when is the technician going to have time to fix it? What if they get booked up in between that? See, this is the things that the people should not have to worry about. You should just be able to go open the hood of your vehicle and have your friendly mechanic or whatnot just fix your vehicle for you. But just because some individuals care more about revenue, care more about profit, then they want you to return back certain places so that it can keep the gravy train going for them. And like back in the day, you never really heard of things like this. Like my grandfather used to fix on vehicles. I mean, he used to have it done in no time. And nowadays, trying to break down some of these vehicles just to get to a part, then you need to go to the dealership to get certain things, certain sensors and certain things recalibrated to make sure it works. Like, come on, man. Anyways, the original link for these videos will be in my description box. Let me know what you guys think about today's video in the comment section. Make sure to leave this video a big thumbs up, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Take care.